Hello everybody. How you doing? Here I am here today. So obviously from the title, I'm still talking about the affirmations of disingenuosity when it comes to Greisbach and Colburn. Greasy, Anyway, read something else today about what's going on at the court where the defamation lawsuit is going to be at, and just thought it was interesting. And it looks like the judge that it originally went to he's related to Michael Greisbach, and so he had to recuse himself, or maybe he didn't have to, but he did. He recused himself immediately, obviously because he realized he probably would be on the receiving end of some crap if he didn't. I don't know, but anyways, he did. He recused himself, and now the judge that has been appointed to is that some seem to have the opinion that she will see the merits in defendants, in the protection of free speech, and that sort of thing, that in the past that particular judge has shown, that they have, they believe in those things. So anyway, it'll be interesting, but thought it was an interesting article anyways. But beyond that, just pointing out the things that Michael Greisbach has done in this case, and the as much as he wants people to believe like he is this nice guy, this good guy, he's really not. Okay, when you look at what he held back and the things that he held back, that sort of thing. But we'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about MAMathon coming up at the end of this month. So, hey, I hope everybody's getting kind of excited about this. Sorry, guys, I don't have the chat up just yet. You're going to have to wait just a second. I have something prepared for in a minute here, so I can't really read your guys' comments just yet. Sorry about that. But coming up with this, we're looking to really get some interest. We're actually seeing a lot of interest, which is really cool. Obviously, hopefully, this whole idea of having this 48-hour stream going across 4 channels, it's kind of exciting idea. It's really kind of cool, and I'm kind of can't wait. I'm honestly realistically thinking about how kind of maybe exhausting it's going to be, but at the same time how rewarding it will feel when it's all done. It'll be really cool. So it's going to be interesting, and so I hope everybody's getting excited about it. I know a lot of people are. Hope we get more interest, more people show up that weekend. I hope so. I've been talking to some people today, not letting any cats out of bags, not jinxing anything, but been talking to some folks today and hoping to line up some more really cool guests. So, really, really hoping that this thing's going to really be a big deal. It's going to be, fun, informative, raise a little bit of money for Stephen and Brendon, in their canteens basically, and that sort of stuff, and just create goodwill and educate anybody that gets curious about this live stream happening on YouTube, this MAMathon or whatever, and if some people who maybe don't know a whole lot about the case come and get a little education from us, great, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a little promo real quick, and then we'll be right back.
Get on the train before it leaves the station. Wisconsin versus Avery, a complete fabrication. Get on the train before it leaves town. The truth train coming, gonna run them down. Get on the train.
The truth train coming, gonna run them down, right? Love it. Love that song. Anyways, all right. So what's going on in the chat? Okay, there we go. Get myself organized here. All right, here we go. Truth Monster, day 65. Oh, yep, I saw that on Allie's live. Let's see. Why were several unidentified fingerprints found on the RAV4, never compared against possible suspects? Only Stephen and Brendon, right? Got it. Smash the like button on the way in. Thank you so much, T1. What's up, buddy? How's it going, Torres? Good morning, Suzanne. Hello, Fence Torino. Get on the train. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Did you hear about what Steven's girlfriend said? I can't believe what the news reports. I'm aware that she said something, only because in one of the Facebook groups I'm a part of, I got a notification today and went in and it said, we would like to ask that nobody posts anything about Lynn. You know, basically, we all know what she's about. She's had her 15 minutes. Don't even give her the time of day type of thing. I got to say that's a sentiment that I actually kind of agree with. Lynn, nobody asked for Lynn. Nobody asked her to get involved in this. Nobody asked her to be a part of this. Nobody asked her to do anything. And she came in like a wrecking ball and did what she did. And then now she wants to be, you know, the one saying that Steven and everybody else is a jerk. I mean, she came in and totally manipulated the situation like trash. You know? Anyway, I've said too much about Lynn already. So, yeah, I've heard, but I don't know exactly what it is yet. I will probably very soon, but don't want to give any credence to that really much. Not much, anyway. Let's see. Hello, everyone. It's excited about MAM-a-thon. I worked that weekend, but still popping in as much as I can. Hey, we want to have you on the live panel there, T. And you have to talk. So you have to find like 5 or 10 minutes when you're not working or, you know, busy, and then get on and talk to us for 10 minutes. It's all right if you don't. But as long as you're there in the chat, buddy. We'd still love to see you, though. Be there or miss the train. That's right. Just havering and waiting. Uh-oh. She does not deserve any more. Yeah, right. Much better singing since God saved the queen. Let's see here. Okay, it's awful. Okay. Like I said, I'll know what it is soon, but I don't yet. Literally got home, ate something, was watching a little bit of Ali's live and scheduled mine, and basically had not a lot of time to check much of anything. So, anyways, moving along. So, the other thing, you know, MAM-a-thon, we're really promoting, you know, the, you know, rally as well as, you know, promoting for Stephen Brendon and raising money for their canteens and everything. But we're also, you know, kind of trying to promote for rally, hoping to get as many people showing up out there on June 15th as possible. And so to that end, the Wrecking Crew in our Discord community, the Wrecking Crew, they have come up with a t-shirt. It's a Wrecking Crew rally t-shirt. It's pretty cool. You know what? Let me see if I can pull that up for everybody to see real quick. I'm sure my mods will be able to give you the link to this, no problem. And let's see here. Oops. Where is it? There it is. All right. Okay. All right. You guys want to see it? All right, here we go. This is the Kose Wrecking Crew Rally T-shirt for 2019. All right, so this is the shirt from the front, right? That's, what it says on the front there. It says Cozy Wrecking Crew, right? So then on the back, and that's what the back of the shirt looks like. So those who are interested, I mean, it's pretty cool. Obviously, working in the We All Live on Avery Road, it's brilliant. I love it. I even like the color, personally. But anyway, so those who are interested, I'm sure the mods will be putting up the link for it, so you guys can go and get yourself one if you desire. All right. So anybody who's interested in one of those, right? She steal my money when I'm in need. Here's the link to the shirt. There you go. Lynn, the one that dumped him. Design cred goes to Fence Torino and Falcon. Erekose, getting in here late, but check out the case of Patricia Rohr, death in Joanne Katrinik and Joanne's infant son. Patricia may have gotten railroaded, framed. Look into it and see what you think. Okay, if I get a chance, I will definitely try it. But I got it. The Mammothon coming up is really dominating my time at the moment. Work in that is rather dominating my time, but I definitely will give it a try. How does moving Brendon? By the way, David, BB, it's Brendon. I'm just trying to tell you, buddy to buddy here. Just some people when if you spell Brandon that way, like they will castrate you. So I just want to go ahead and help you out. Just make sure that when you're talking about the case with people, try to remember to say Brendon. Let's see. Oh, and Brendon being moved to well, that's just what happened. I mean, that's I don't know what to say. I don't know who gains from it or who does. I don't even know if anybody asked for it to happen or if the state was just moving prisoners around. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But at this place, apparently, he gets to do a little bit more than he would have been able to do at the other maximum security place. It's like he gets a tiny bit more, freedom, I guess you might say. I don't know. And so it is what it is, but hey, if it's less strict and less, hard on him, then I'm cool with that. It doesn't, but got him closer to home. They must have moved him because he stopped sharing his oodies of noodles with other inmates. Family said he's been asking for it for a year. I believe Night Rider asked for the move to medium security like a year ago. He will be able to work and go to school. And David may be a little safer. So, yeah, well, look, like I said, I think it's good for Brendon. I know he wanted it or whatever. So, I'm not. Anyway, to me that's fine. I'm fine with it that Brendon moved to medium security. I think it's a good sign for him, really. See, there has been a comment made that I saw Brendon got moved to such prison. Next stop home is what I've seen. Right. That's like I said, this prison is like all about rehabilitation. It's about trying to give these inmates that are there, some skill sets and some things, something to help them when they get out that won't just have them right back in again, right? So they try to help them, build some skills and some things that they can hopefully use on the outside, and so that's the whole point of this particular little place where he's at. So that suggests that somebody in the state has an inkling that maybe they want Brendon out of jail and out of prison at some point. So, or that they anticipate that his lawyers are going to be successful on his behalf, right? Or, or the fact that Laura Nyrider requested it a year ago, and now the support for Brendon is as strong as ever, and maybe they're just starting to think, what the hell are we doing here? Who knows? I don't know. Do they have a conscience? I don't know. Maybe the new leadership does. I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to see. It's like he's a murderer, never should have been in maximum. I've always wondered about the crime scene at the Hell Hotel and where the man was waiting in pond with waiters. Whatever became of the evidence there. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Janet. There's been a comment made. Okay. Will Brendon have a transition team when he leaves? I don't know. That was a speculated. Okay, that was mainly speculation on my part. I'm only connecting the dot that if he's been moved to somewhere where rehabilitation is a concern, then it suggests that there is a thought that he might end up outside at some point. Otherwise, why would you bother rehabilitating, right? Or maybe, anyways, that's all I'm saying. So I don't know. In my opinion, and I'm not saying that Brendon's getting out. That's not the message here. That's not what I'm saying. At least not right now. But it suggests that somebody's thinking that may happen in the future. Maybe. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Became concerned. It was like that the LE was trying to use to look like they were more amenable to the family. Maybe. I suppose maybe. Every year in prison takes about 2 years off of life expectancy, you mean, Travis, I imagine? Janet, yes, I remember. Okay. Transition team will be the wrecking crew. They had a whole deal set up for him when he was supposed to get out before, by the way, guys. When he was when he was literally hours from getting out, when suddenly the Judge Hamilton and Easterbrook all denied the motion, or upheld the state's motion to keep Brendon in, literally when Brendon was like 12 hours from being released. But they had a whole a plan in place already then, and he was everything was all set up, like where he would be living. He would be seeing a social worker. There were all these things to help him reacclimatize and really merge back into society, essentially, right? So they had this whole thing set up, and I'm sure the day when Brendon gets out, all those same things are going to be right back, just like they were when he was about to get out once before. So I'm sure all those things will materialize again, and there will be like a thing set up for him to help him when he gets out. All prisons are supposed to be focused on rehabilitation. Yeah, well, unfortunately, in the maximum security ones, you're dealing with what are basically seen as the baddest of the bad, or the worst of the worst. Usually, anyway. All yeah. And unfortunately, because of that, they don't really focus a whole lot on rehabilitation in places like that. He's safer in minimum security versus maximum security, the level of crimes committed, right? Are some concerned about him going to family if there is still any suspicion to other family members? Well, he'll be going with his mom. American prisons are so focused on making money and slavery that the rehabilitation part has been totally lost. Well, and you think about who the people that are in maximum security are: lifers, and that sort of stuff like that. I mean, people that have done really heinous things. It's they're not looking to bring in civilians into the prison to help these people with job skills and things like that. If a civilian's going to end up getting shanked by a rowdy prisoner or something, right? And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that that's the math of how that decision gets made. How much comes off with each year of marriage? Asking for a friend. Crud. Let's see. Rehabilitation isn't required, nor does it happen in most prisons in U.S. He does not still have that SS assignment in place anymore. Sorry, I misspoken then. It was there before. It'll be there again. I don't know how else to make that clearer. I don't know. It was set up before. If Brendon's going to get released, I'm sure all those things will. If I just got to imagine, people don't always stay in the same jobs and stuff. So the same thing that they drew up for, a year ago may not work for a year from now or something, or whenever Brendon may get out, right? So what I'm saying is that it was set up once, it'll be set up again. I hope that's clear enough. Programs are all based on funding. I'm just not ready to trust their motives. I'm afraid they are letting Brendon get comfortable there so that they can take it away from him if he doesn't confess. Hope not, but I don't trust the personnel behind the Wisconsin DOJ. My point was that Brendon's move is unrelated to his eventual release. Moving him to medium security prison is not the same as moving him to transitional facility. It's not the same. Want to be clear with this disclaimer. I am not saying that this means Brendon's getting out. I know there's some of you out there already who may be misinterpreting this. I am saying it just, to me, is, hey, if nothing else, Laura Nyrider is looking to get Brendon into a prison like this because she believes he's getting out at some point, as I do, and as most of you do, right? So, even if it was Nyrider's request, then the person out there that is thinking that Brendon might be out of prison someday is Laura Nyrider. But there might be a few others because this actually got approved. That's all I'm suggesting. That's all I'm suggesting. I'm not saying anything concrete. I'm not saying Brendon's getting out. I'm not saying that. Just making sure here. There's no rehabilitation. He's learned more about how to commit a crime than he could have ever been subjected to, running wild in the streets, reading Wrecking Crew, and unmaking a murderer. And I have a hard time trusting anything Ellie does there, being something of a benefit anyone but themselves. Being something, yeah, right. It is cheaper to house in medium security. Why would they need Brendon to confess? He's already got a life sentence. Want him released, but worried for him if he does get released. And many are, and it is a concerning situation. Mainly because there's going to be a lot of other clones of Lynn Hartman out there. Right? That's my main worry for Brendon. Personally. I was clarifying for anyone who did think that was being suggested by anyone else. I don't think anyone is saying that you're claiming. I just want to make sure. Just piercingly clear. Right on, sir. And what's important is that his behavior earned him this right. Yeah. Guys, do you remember when he was okay? So when Brendon was about to get released before, I did a great video. I got to go back and find that thing. I mean, we go through the Duff and stuff, like what he was saying, the motion to have Brendon released and stuff. And it goes through like all the social worker stuff that they had set up and all that sort of stuff. But it also talks about, like, it talked about all that stuff. And, I lost the train of thought I was going on there. Oh, yes, that was it. And one of the things that they said about Brendon as a prisoner back then, when they were trying to facilitate his release and everything, the prison in its records refers to Brendon as being exceedingly benign. Those are the words, folks. Those are the words used by the prison. Okay? That Brendon as a prisoner was exceedingly benign. Okay? Those were the words. I always loved those words. They've stuck with me, as you can tell. Thank you, Thank you, Charlie Brush. I believe he should never have been pulled out of class in the first place, right? More worried about Brendon than Steven. I'm actually concerned for him living with his mom. Well, it's his mom. They pulled him out because they needed him. He's an awesome, awesome person, and he loves life and deserves a good one. He does. He's a gentle soul, dude. He never did any of this crap. I fear he will return to his 16-year-old ways of sitting in front of the TV playing video games. I fear his family will take advantage of his civil suit money. There's a lot of people out there that care about Brendon. And, look, I understand everybody's concerns, but you got to understand that that's his family, Whatever you may think of it, they're all family. I mean, to try to suggest that anybody other than his family should have a say or should be able to have anything to say about it, I mean, to me, just seems not quite right. And I understand, how you feel, but ultimately, that's Brendon's family. And when he gets out, he's going to want to be with his family. So you got to look at it. You got to look at it from what Brendon would want. You got to look at it from Brendon's point of view, as well. And that's all I can say is that, we can worry about Brendon. We can be concerned about Brendon, but don't do anything that would send you into the realm of being a bad human. You got to respect the fact that they're kin. And Barb is the center of is basically the center of Brendon's universe, really, at this point in time. So you gotta respect that. Due to his fine character and stellar behavior in prison, Brendon has earned a transfer to a medium security facility in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where he will have greater freedom and more job activity opportunities. Correct. He is a gentle soul. I pray, yeah. Yes, gentle, vulnerable soul. Once cared more about a prison activity than talking to family. The whole world will party when they are released. Yeah, there you go. I think he's more wise and will not let anyone take him for foolish. I think he's getting wiser. But he still has to develop a certain amount of like emotional and mental maturity in the real world, right? Gets a little different when you deal with the very small population in a prison, and then you're suddenly in the real world with the wider population and the freedom and stuff. It can be daunting, and so, you know, something to be worried about. It's something to be concerned about, I should say. He thinks he will go back to the status quo. Nothing is as it was. He won't be able to, because, well, I'm going to bring it up one more time, and I'm kind of done with this topic. There is going to be things set up. There are going to be hoops that he's going to have to jump through when he gets out, because they're looking at merging him back into society, and they're looking at helping him reacclimate and all that. So there's going to be, he's not going to be able to just sit around. He's not going to be able to just sit around and play video games, because he's going to have to be places to meet people and do things and whatever. It's going to, all I can say is I understand your concerns. I do. I just, you know, hope you guys understand that, you know, you got to have some kind of faith, you know? And the fact is that they set up a bunch of things before to help Brendon reacclimate. That would, I mean, obviously he's probably going to still play some video games. He's probably still going to watch some WrestleMania, but he's probably going to be thinking about trying to be a meaningful member of society as well. So anyway, I think it seems like Brendon has matured in a lot of ways, and, you know, I don't know. I have faith. When the world stage mourns both the loss of Teresa Halbach's life and the time taken from those two men, something had to get done. I think Barb is all good and would not wish on any other mom what she has gone through. Just saying. I agree. Barb has been put through the ringer, folks. And people are critical of her. And the thing is, she's been put through the ringer. Okay, those of you who think some people out there think she was working with law enforcement and stuff. I think it's more of she felt like she had no choice but to go along with what the detectives and stuff were telling her to do. She felt bullied. That's truly what I believe happened. And that's clear because she says that they wouldn't let her into the room and that sort of stuff. So Charlie agreed. Oh, what did Charlie say? Oh, absolutely right. I understand what you are saying. Erekose, point taken. Yes, I saw it on Oxygen. That channel claims that Avery won the stay of appeal. The bone destruction by the state will be allowed in the motion. I am hoping it is true. Let's see, what's the alternative? Someone going to adopt him, live live on his own. He needs family, not the advice of strangers. Travis is right, folks. That's basically what I was trying to say. In my opinion, Barb is a victim. Exactly. Barb is also a victim. You know, she was bullied. She felt bullied. I don't think she did any of that anything here that people perceive as nefarious. I don't believe she did anything because she wanted to. I believe she did whatever she may have been done that is being perceived in such a negative way was she felt forced into. I'm sure that's my take on it. Of every situation that I've seen, I really feel like it's just another case of these investigators bullying people, trying to get them to do and say things that they want them to say. And so yes, I believe she was messed with. just like anybody else, and she was a victim as well. He's probably going to want to become an activist against wrongful convictions, and that would be awesome. SPD works. She had rights. He's a minor. That's why I love Erekose. Let's get him out first. Fix the rest as we go. Stay positive. All I know is that project due in 8th hour is wicked late. Yeah, certainly is. My family is not too good, toxic in some ways, but I learned some things that helped me deal with them and with myself in relation to them. Did some inner work, gained some humility. It has helped. And folks, humility goes a long freaking way. Okay? Because RFK is 100% on the point there. I mean, hey, dude, I even had a rough family life growing up. Not bad. We had, we had dinner. We had food on the table every night, and we had, I didn't really want for anything, but the climate, the emotional climate was quite turbulent. And so I can relate to you there. And the fact of the matter is that I've learned in the last 3 years by giving of myself, and doing so much that is for someone else's benefit, because I care about somebody else's, tragedy and want to help. And that giving of myself and that the humility that has come along with it has been amazing. It's been truly amazing. I really encourage everybody to continue to really focus on that kind of maybe for the next week or so, and yourself, of being humble, trying to, instead of getting mad and blowing up at a situation or getting huffy or whatever, just take the high road. Just don't even think about it. Just take the high road, and take the high road because it's the thing to do. And try not to regret not getting down and getting in the trenches and getting dirty. It's tough, but that's what being humble does. And there's a serenity, that comes from quieting down those noisy areas in your life. It's like quieting them down. I don't know. I may not be expressing myself as well as I would like to be right now, but I will say this. Being humble and having humility is a very, very huge, huge thing. And I 100% agree with you, RKF. You think the teacher is still waiting, T1? Haha. Brendon will be just fine once he's free. Night Rider will make sure of it. I agree. Exactly. He needs his mom. But mom and Scott, yeah, well, humility is everything to survival. I pray for Brendon and getting that truth of what's reality and knowledge and what's the truth, and he can heal from this tragedy. I think Brendon's doing pretty well, but yeah, I mean, he's going to get the help he needs. He's going to have support. Sometimes the fam is dysfunctional, but there are ways of dealing with it and still being involved, learning boundaries, assertiveness, humility. Right. Versus yelling. Right. That's what I meant by instead of blowing up, that's yelling, right? And sometimes it wasn't even just blowing up or yelling. Sometimes it was just attitude, right? Or the getting mad and just not saying anything until some point down the line where something completely unrelated sets them off. Like, it was like emotional landmine kind of. Anyway, never mind. So, anyways, yeah, I can appreciate what you're talking about, RKF. Can I ask what time the Mammothon will be starting at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on March 26th, which is a Friday. So that's going to be 7 p.m. on the West Coast. That's going to be 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And then obviously in Europe, it's going to be maybe the middle of the night. So I may not get all the Europeans for my first 4 hours, but that's okay. I'll be coming back on, basically midday on Saturday. Well, mid-morning on Saturday, most likely, or maybe midday. Midday on Saturday, I'll be back for my next 4-hour shift. So we'll be able to catch everybody then, right? We'll get a chance to get everybody in, right? Eventually. All right. Anyway. Who really cares if he plays some video games? Let's see. Erekose, you're wise beyond your years. Thank you so much. Life is always a lesson, always time for personal growth. Absolutely. Humility, I totally agree. It comes at a price, though. LOL, getting it can be very painful. Yeah, I agree. I work very hard for the peace of mind I have, the humility that I've earned. I work very hard for it. So I agree. You got to give up something to get something. But in this case, the something I'm getting is very much worth it, and keeps me going, keeps me marching. Swallowing a lot of humble pie. Yep. But the results are so worth it. Exactly. Able to serve joyfully because you find out life doesn't revolve around yourself. That's a big one. Yeah. The handling of this case, and especially what they did to Brendon, creates so much more victims than it would have otherwise. Very true, Jason Momo. I mean, the poor Hallbach family is a never-ending nightmare. That's true. I mean, that's the thing about this, because just think about how much a poor investigation, okay, into somebody who they had already wrongfully convicted once, and look at how much pain a poor, half-assed, phoning it in investigation got. Look how much pain all around, right? Because I don't believe the crime happened the way the prosecution says, because there's no evidence of it happening. None. Where did this happen? Right? It didn't happen in that trailer, and it didn't happen in that garage. Did not. Right? So it's like, where did it happen? We don't know. This whole case is just a bunch of circumstantial crap tied to some planted evidence. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway. Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. I believe we are here, each of us on this earth, to make a positive difference in the life in the life or lives of others. This is our epitaph. Everything else is material, and you really can take it with you. So true. Amen. Amen. And this is reminding me of something, folks. It's, you guys met my boss recently in a video, right? It was windy and hard to understand some of it, but you guys, I introduced you to him essentially, right? See, it's funny. I'm into criminal justice, right? I'm into the whole true crime and criminal justice reform and that sort of thing. That's just what my passion is. That's what's grabbed me. And that's what I'm, and you guys hear me say, creating the conversation, right? Creating the conversation. I'm here creating the conversation. I'm starting the conversation. I'm keeping the conversation going. You guys hear me use that terminology a lot, right? A lot of that, where I got that idea, although yes, hearing Dean String say we talk about it was another very good example of it. And I did a video recently about that. But starting the conversation, keeping the conversation going. That whole thing with me kind of evolved from conversations with Steve, my boss. He is very much into socio-political stuff. And although I find the stuff that he's into interesting, I don't really like to talk about it, especially not here on this channel, because right here this is about one thing. And so I don't bring politics here. But the one thing that I get from the discussions with Steve is how it's important for conversations to take place. And we as Americans need a lot of conversations to start taking place. We do. And we need all the people out there that care about these various issues, the ones that have that burning, white hot burning, desire, like I have in this case, right? But other people who have that same drive, but for other things, for other issues, for other social issues that are happening that need attention, right? But to do it in a good way, not to be bullies, not to, start the conversation, talk about it, figure out what the best way to go is. Start the conversation. I just can't say it enough. Start the conversation. Whatever it is, start it. Keep it going. Talk about it. We all need to start thinking that way. We really do. Anyway, so that's one thing that was just reminding me of. I thought I'd share that with you guys. Hi, Mary Playford. My opinion, BD is very forgiving soul and will adjust to the outside in his own way. However, for most inmates, time stands still when they're locked up. That's true. Teresa deserves so much better. Oh, I believe she did. She certainly deserved a lot better than this freaking ridiculous investigation that she got. Phoning it in is right. Is Colburn, i.e. Colburn in the plate, right? Fallon's butt dial to KZ, right? That was actually Mark Williams' butt dial, thinking he was calling Fallon, apparently. Anyway. Start talking. Freedom of speech is big. Plates in Colburn anger me immensely. We know SWH or Sam William Henry 582. That's hilarious. As suggested by your Discord name. Yes, of course. So, to now move on to the point of this video. How long did it take me to get here? 47 minutes. Speaking of Discord, there's the link, folks. So, it only took me 47 minutes to get here. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about Greisbach again and a little bit about Colburn. So, you guys have seen these videos I've been putting out here lately. I've been doing uploads, really, instead of going live the last 3-4 days, right? I mean, you see what I'm pointing out in those uploads, right? You see what I'm pointing out, the things that I'm pointing out. It all centers around the fact that in the depositions, Rohr basically tries to say that they sent everything to the AG's office. Him and Michael Greisbach sent everything to the AG's office, but they didn't. They didn't send anything about the call from Brown County Police Department to the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department and Colburn and all that. And then the mysterious report or the statement that Colburn writes 8 years later, the exact day after Stephen Avery gets out of prison. And Colburn says he doesn't know what day Stephen Avery got out. Like, he is trying to act like writing that statement wasn't prompted by Stephen Avery being released from prison. I mean, you see the disingenuosity. These guys are so disingenuous. It's ridiculous. How can you? I mean, oh my Lord, it's so funny. But anyway. But as a victim's family, we would definitely want the perpetrator and just the perpetrator. Yep. AC needed to confirm the license plate number on the 3rd, but was well aware of TH missing on the 1st when Carmen B was found because he called dispatch to check if this was TH. Oh, really? I am snowed in. I got time, Erekose. Exactly, Erekose. Thank God we live in a digital era to expand our views so much more. I live near Manitowoc and was a repo man there for 17 years. He didn't do it, and it's embarrassing. Yeah, I agree. It is embarrassing. Uh, CYA, yeah, absolutely. That's what it was. Yeah, just like he wasn't looking at the car while reading that plate. Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he tells the dispatcher what it is. I mean, it's, yeah. Anyway, like as if he's asking for more confirmation of what he's looking at. Right. I mean, anyway. Peterson said he knew about the phone call when it happened. He knew and didn't suggest a report be written then. Why? I'm not sure what you're getting at, Pom Pom. If he wasn't looking at the plate, I am an alien. Trust I am not. He asked if it's our missing girl. He said that when he was calling about Carmen. He didn't say that when he called in the plates. Oh. Hold on, guys. Thirsty. Oh, all right. All right. So then, hey, do you guys know that Michael Greisbach was giving a little he's doing like a little seminar at a college or whatever, and he had a bunch of college students come in to listen to him talk about his book Indefensible. I think it was. Oh no, it was about. I think it was the first one, Innocent Killer. And during this, it's recorded, and during this little seminar that he's giving, he actually says the words because there's students out there asking him, and they're asking him questions, asking about Avery's innocence and stuff. So eventually, he gets a little bit annoyed with it, and he says this: "If there is ever any evidence of planting in the Avery case, or anything, dishonest by the state or whatever, that he would quit his job." Well, he recently did. And he became now a defense attorney. I just thought that was funny. I just figured, I mean, he did quit his job. Does that mean he saw some evidence or he saw some proof of something that he didn't want to be, got the hell out of Dodge? I don't know. But then he goes ahead and takes Colburn's, it's just perplexing to try to put any sense into Mike Greisbach's, doings, goings on. Watch his face when Buting asked him about them. He had the oh chit face. Surprised Kratz did not try to object to that question. Exactly. So why would he need to confirm the plate number if he wasn't standing right in front of the RAV4? Peterson said in an interview that he was aware of the call from Brown County. Yeah. When it happened. Why didn't he tell AC to report it then? Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, the whole point is that obviously nobody cared back then, right? So, nobody gave a crap. But suddenly, 8 years later, when Stephen Avery's getting released, they're all thinking back to 1995 going, oh, boy. Uh-oh. And that's when Colburn suddenly writes this statement, as he puts it. Anyway. To let the evidence begin, either we are a bunch of idiots here or someone's eating crow supper soon. Haha, it's coming. Yeah. I say, Manitowoc law enforcement, the fact that you lied to us doesn't hurt my feelings because we never liked you in the first place. And it's not what we won't ever trust you again because we never did. So true, Charlie Bresch, and I can't wait. If they are guilty of this crime, then why hasn't more incriminating evidence come out against them? And to go one up on that, T1, why has there been evidence continuously coming out showing the state's disingenuous nature? and Disingenuous Deeds. You know, the CD, 12 years in Tom Fassbender's personal custody. The bones being given back to the Hallbox. And the recent response from the state where they basically say they gave bones back to the Hallbox that they don't know if they were even human. So, you know, why does stuff like that keep coming out? And we're not seeing anything coming out cutting against Stephen and Brendon. All we're seeing is stuff coming out pointing to the state's BS and dishonesty. It's that you are insinuating that we are stupid enough to believe your lame lies, and that is insulting to our collective intelligence, and that is unforgivable. Greisbach taking on Colburn is going to be like whoever takes on Julian Assange case. And I live in Milwaukee. What does it mean if you're King Kratz when you're booed at a Brewer game? Popular special prosecutor right there. Yeah, definitely. Did he really gets booed at the... Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. He talks about going to a Green Bay Packers game or going to a Milwaukee Brewers game as being one of the things that's so great about living and growing up in where he in Wisconsin and whatever. And he I think it's great that if he does actually get booed when he goes to those types of things, because he seemed to put so much importance on them in an interview I saw. That's hilarious though. So he said if he had to write about everything incidents, isn't doing of reports daily part of information about any given, that's it all. Yeah, the funny part is that King Kratz asks him if you would have written a report about that, what would it have been? What would you have said? Right? And that's when Colburn gives this blasé kind of answer of, oh, well, if I wrote reports about every single phone call I received, I'd spend my whole entire day writing reports, right? And it's like, but you remembered that call, dude. And 8 years later, when Stephen Avery gets released from prison because DNA exonerates him, suddenly you write a statement. You didn't seem to have any trouble figuring out what to write in the statement. Right? Am I right? Anyways. Charlie would have loved to be at that Brewer game. Doubling down is an understatement at this point. They are all in. Yep. In for a penny, in for a pound is a way that I've been also putting it. Yeah. Are they full potato status right now? Poster, not the banner. Well, part of the job, dude. Hey, the dude. Right? Wearing my shirt given to me by Ziggy. I don't see Ziggy tonight, but got my... See what it says on the back, right? I'll be wearing this at Rally. So, I'll also have one of the other Wrecking Crew shirts. But this is the one that I'll have, because I'm the dude, right? So it'll give me that little distinction. Anyways. Sat beside a cop from Racine on my flight in June, and in my 2-hour convo with him, the best part was he thought KK was a jerk. Well, he is a jerk, right? King Kratz is yeah. Anyways, he's just not good. They have bet the farm on convicting these guys of this crime and cannot turn back. It's a house built on sinking sand, and is starting to sink as the waves of KZ crash against it. I am the dude, according to Paul Capaldi, the Mad Scotsman. Hey, that's just what Mr. Capaldi calls me. He loves the Big Lebowski, and he loves calling me the dude. His dudeness, El Duderino, Duder. Oh, yeah, anyway. So, did you see the Twitter tweet from KK saying, in defense of some lame crap Leia said, that TH could have been killed all the way up to the 11th of November. I think that's the date he gave. Oh, guys, have you guys seen that? I've posted a screenshot before too of him saying that Teresa could have been killed all the way up to the 8th of December when her bones were found in the burn pit, right? So he's made comments like that before. It's just like, yeah, bizarre, dude. Bizarre. Yeah, anyway. I took it down until I get it framed because I don't want it to get damaged. Pom pom. Excuse me. Rachel Napstein. I'm not sure what you're saying. Excuse me about, Rachel. Could you elaborate just a tiny bit? Yeah, but they didn't find bones until the 8th. So what he's saying? Okay, so I got you here, Rachel. Okay, so what Ken Kratz is saying is that technically she could have been killed all the way up to the 8th and then somehow her bones got dumped into the fire pit on the 8th, right? Is what he's saying. It's a bizarre argument. It's just, Rachel, just understand. It's a bizarre argument. And it's bizarre to hear it coming from him. It's just bizarre. Steve was in Crivets, but it's like I said, you're just pointing out all the reasons why it's bizarre, right? So, yeah, I hear you. If that is the case, that proves over and over that MCSO and Calumet sheriffs do not know how to properly investigate, or they would have found her alive. Will Stephen and Brendon sue Wisconsin for 36.72 millions? But if she was killed after the property was locked down, then she wasn't burned in the pit. No, she would have been burned elsewhere and dumped in the pit, right? But it wasn't Stephen that burned her in the pit. If it was after, right? Exactly. Anyways, after the 5th, right? Yes, nobody could have burned her in the pit. It would have been impossible to do that. Hey, Erekose, what will you be talking to Scooby about on Saturday? A little bit of this, a little bit of that. She will probably end up talking about something she's been pretty excited about on Twitter recently. Those of you who follow Scooby on Twitter, she's been talking a lot about the coroner's report, the X-rays of all the bones, the account of Leslie Eisenberg, who claims she knows that Teresa was shot because she saw radio opaque particles around the skull fragment, right? And the thing that Scooby's pointing out, just one rough thing, and the thing Scooby's pointing out is that all the bones had radio opaque, reactions. So if all the bones were giving that reaction, how can we say that the skull fragment radio opaque particles are from a gunshot? And if those are, how do we explain all the others? Right? So that's one of the things that she's kind of on about right now. So we're gonna end up talking about that, and we're gonna talk a little bit about mtDNA and that sort of stuff. So we're gonna have a little chat. I'll find vid for you, T. But the Corvette all crew will be the only one who will give KK or his crew what they're coming, unintimidated. Thank you, Charlie Brush. Let's see. Hello, I've usually missed the lives when I wake up. I can listen while I get ready for work. Hi, Bean. How's it going? That will be great to listen to. It's a bizarre argument considering that KK based his entire case against Stephen Avery on the presumption that she never left the Avery property on October 31st. Correct, right? Hey, there's Ziggy. Guess what shirt I'm wearing, Ziggy? Erekose Silkman on Discord is a microbiologist biologist, as well as had an amazing combo with him. He's from the UK. Awesome. The dude shirt is on. Yep, I was showing it off. It's nice. It's a good shirt. Love this shirt. This shirt went with me to Australia. That makes it special on its own, but it was also given to me by Ziggy. And that makes it special even more. This shirt's got a lot of sentimental value. So, and basically just overall, this whole thing, I mean, Greisbach, Colburn, wherever you look, the disingenuosity, Mark Williams, Fallon, it's just gone. It's just not handing over the final pages of queso, not handing over the final ledgers, not telling Stephen's, attorneys or Stephen that they were planning to get rid of these bones, right? And all these things, like I said, the CD and Fassbender's personal custody for 12 years, and then it's suddenly handed over after Zellner's motion for post-conviction relief is denied, right? So that they effectively felt like the motion for post-conviction relief was used up now, but then she ended up getting it remanded, and now she's getting something else remanded. Do you think maybe they're starting to realize that there's some troubled waters ahead? Yeah, I think they are. KZ was in the process of making a deal with Fallon and the state to get, amongst many things, the skull fragment, so that it could be tested over at Microtrace and looked at. And looked at under their microscopes over at Microtrace, because there was something that Chris Palahniuk saw in the radiospectrography that caught his eye, and he was desperately wanting to get a hold of that skull fragment to get it under his Microtrace microscopes. So it was being, there was a deal being made, but then Judge Suck at this denied the motion for post-conviction relief suddenly, when they were in the midst of that, and then it all went away, and the state retreated, and so that's where we're at. Yeah, that's not the way it's supposed to work. I watch CSI, I know myself. There was no county coroner allowed on the scene, as KZ requested the skull fragment. So there was a coroner, but it was the Calumet County coroner. What's interesting about that is the fact that the Manitowoc coroner is literally the only department at Manitowoc County Sheriff, right? It is literally the only department that didn't have a conflict of interest with Stephen's 85 case. It is the only one. Yet it is the only department of Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department which is actually barred from the crime scene and from the investigation. But all the other ones who did have a conflict of interest were shown right in. Right? That's the really messed up part about that. Wait till I've seen photos were not taken of the bones, and they were not found because by the time Ertl got there, the scene had been tampered with and they wouldn't take photos. Yeah, that's not the way it's supposed to work. I watch CSI. I know that myself. They should have. I am not getting excited until I see it. KZ will whoop their asses. Whoops. Dang it. I think it was Ertl that said that. Okay. Right on E, they sent it back to her and said, "You deal with it, get it right. Won't be good if it goes back. I'm sure she's just stalling for summer vacation time." Yeah, could be right. Key equals photo, RAV4 equals photo, bullet equals photo, bones, no photo. That in and of itself should be seriously questioned. I was shocked at the interview on MAM2 about what she said. Not shocked, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, oh yeah, I know what you mean. And let's see. And from trial as well, I need a Deborah Kakich t-shirt too. Cause that raises my blood pressure. Right, exactly. It's that whole thing. I mean, literally, she's the only department. She's the only person there in Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department that didn't have a conflict of interest. And she's the only one that was barred. Just the mind-boggling, of that. Yeah, there you go. I do wish I could get her. I do wish KZ could get her hands on the RAV4. Absolutely. Exactly. She's over the sheriff, off the charts. We should have name tags at rallies so we know each other. We probably should, actually. That's funny. Hey, if everybody gets their shirts early enough, they can go and have like something embroidered on. I don't know, maybe, or you can send it. Maybe Julie can open up a little. She can embroider everybody's names onto their shirts if you send it to her, and she could bring it to you at rally, right? So I don't know. Maybe see what she charges per letter, and hopefully, if you don't have a super long name like Rumpelstiltskin, then you could have it embroidered on the shirt. Be kind of cool, right? Damn it, I spelled sheriff wrong. Yeah, that's funny. I never thought about this before, but when the coroner was threatened with being arrested if she didn't push it, says a lot of her faith in the county attorney general's. Wow, yeah. KZ can't get the rap because they don't want her to get at it. Right now the state doesn't have to let her get at it, and they're not gonna unless they have to. So that's why they don't want an evidentiary hearing, because that will be the point when KZ will be able to start lines of questioning, and hopefully she'll be able to motion for pieces of evidence, and hopefully eventually the RAV4 will hopefully be one of those pieces. Honest people were not allowed to be part of this trial. I think the petition signatures for Judge Angela's recusal are close to population of Manitowoc. I never thought about this before, but when the coroner was threatened with being arrested, right? I think Greisbach's comment about Stephen trying to claim the police set him up again just tells it all. I think you went over it last night, Erekose. He said, again, just wow, disingenuous Wisconsin. That's right, disingenuous Wisconsin. Then I go by D, not the Lord. I have a pay. If you do mine, I want it like stitched. I want like the tender loving care. So figure out how much it's going to cost for Erekose on my shirt, because I don't want no iron on patch. I want it to look classy. I have a PG-13 version of this shirt. Need help with? Can I share it? I can type out yet alone, embroider it. I'm at Disingenuous Wisconsin, LOL. There's a deadline, so order soon. I don't believe they still have it. Oh, they have it. I know a lot of people always say that, but I'm pretty sure they have it still. sitting it's in Milwaukee in an evidence storage, basically garage, in Milwaukee. So I'm pretty sure it's still there though. I know a lot of people say that, but I don't. I already have you covered. I just need to know what size you need. Me, it's double X or triple, but double X is fine. I live in Wisconsin. It's so sad. I live 80 miles from Waupun exit to get to see Stephen walk free. I believe he should not. I believe he should not get a new trial. He should just be exonerated now. Well, I'd really like to see a trial, and I'd really like to see the state answer for everything that Zellner's throwing up. I'd like to see them offer some kind of substantive arguments, because I don't think I've seen that so far. Doubtful on rally, Father's Day weekend, and my birthday is the 17th. Kids would be crushed if Daddy was gone. It's your day, not theirs. Yeah, and they'll cry if you want to. No, I'm just kidding. Never mind. I'm sorry. Make him a Captain Obvious cape. It's funny. So, all right. So that's, covering, I think a lot tonight, covering, it's like I said, man, I'm here focusing right now this week on Greisbach and Colburn, but like you can focus a lot of other places in this case. You can focus on King Kratz. You can focus on Fallon. You can focus on, Len Kaczynski, O'Kelly. You can focus on Wiegert and Fassbender. You can focus on, Dietering. You can focus on, just so many of these different things that happen in this case that have a scratch in our head and everything. But, right now I'm pointing out the obvious disingenuosity of, of Colburn and Michael Greisbach. Because you look at the things they say and it's obvious, that they're just not being honest. They're not being genuine, and that's really the way I feel about it. The info on the right, there you go. There's the link for it. And would love a real law enforcement agency come and prosecute the real killers. Yeah, well, and hopefully Casey's going to be fingering them. We'll see what ends up happening here, obviously. But the fact of the matter is she's just blowing, huge holes in the state's theory of what happened. And, it's just the more and more that narrative gets shot to hell, the weaker the whole thing is, and the harder it is to deny. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there, folks. I got one more day at work tomorrow where I got to finish up this job I've been working on the last 2 days. So I am going to sign off. I'm going to get me some sleep so that I can get this job done quick, hopefully tomorrow, and get it done quickly. And I'll be home hopefully at a little sooner hour so that I can try to go a little bit earlier on Friday. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. So, and I also got lots of other things I got to do from Mammothon, trying to get the interesting people on for everybody to see. And so I'm also got a few more things I got to do with that. So it's been great being here with all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Obviously, keeping the conversation going. Those are the watchwords here. Keep the conversation going. Start the conversation. Keep the conversation going. Talk about it. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. And we'll see ya.